Hello and welcome to this special broadcast. We're discussing the budget outcomes. There was an 11% increase in capex allocation in this budget. And joining us right now to talk about the infrastructure push and how this will contribute to highway construction, creation of jobs across the country is Anurag Jain, the Secretary for Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. Mr. Jain, thank you very much for joining us. The allocation for Ministry of Road Transport and Highways was about 2.78 lakh crores in this budget versus the FY24 allocation of 2.5 lakh crores. Give us a sense of how this allocation is going to be used for highway construction, some of the key projects that it would go towards.
As you are aware that highways has been a success story of this country for the last 10 years, and the pace of construction has increased manifold. The quality of roads have increased. As you would be aware that we have increased from 91,000 kilometer to 1,46,000 kilometer of national highway network. But what is more important is the length of 4-lane plus highways has increased from 18,000 to 46,000 kilometer. That is more than 2.5 times. And expressways and high-speed corridors have increased from about 400 kilometer to 4,000 kilometer. So that is the real success story. If you want to increase the logistic efficiency in the country, the high-speed corridors are the real game changer. So the same speed will continue, and we look for more private participation. We have done something on that side also. So therefore this pace will continue, and it will be basically we'll be creating an infrastructure which befits a developed country within next about 10-12 years. And there's a vision which Honorable Prime Minister has given with which we are going forward.
Right. Yesterday, Mr. Jain, there were two views. One, of course, we heard from the government and even the Finance Secretary that this is not a conservative increase in capital expenditure. 11% is very good, and it has been done keeping in mind what the public and the private sector can proportionally contribute to the economy. Now, when it comes to infrastructure development, especially roads and highways, what kind of investments do you envisage from the private sector now that the government has put on the table what it can do?
As you are aware that more and more private sector participation has been taking place. There were issues when about 10 years back there were a lot of stuck projects in 2013-14. As I am told, at that point of time I was not in this ministry, that more than 400 projects were stuck projects. Government over a period of time resolved those projects, but that actually put a problem or sort of apprehension in the mind of the market on the BOTs and the PPP sector. Thereafter, the ministry introduced HAM, which is pretty successful. And now we have taken a decision to go whole hog on HAM and BOT. In the meanwhile, having learned from the past, we have changed the clauses of BOT, MCA. And this MCA should be out very soon. And once that MCA is in place, the projects which are financially viable will be out for the BOT projects also. So the private sector participation in these road construction will increase further. We had a workshop very recently, and we took the market feedback also. We had a good detailed discussion and consultation with the stakeholders, and with our change document, people are very positive and looking forward to our new projects which we'll put on the table.
Right. How many projects could you put on the table, sir, for the build, operate, transfer process?
Right now, NHAI has already identified about 10 projects, but it is only the beginning. As I said, the infrastructure which is ready for a developed country will be in place. That is what we are working at. So we are looking, as per the vision, a much larger set of projects. Basically, the vision is, which Honorable Prime Minister has given, that access controlled highways, so from anywhere to anywhere in the country, you should be able to move at a very decent speed, which is what you find in the developed countries. That logistic efficiency will increase when we have access controlled highways. Right now, problem with certain highways, you will find that once you touch a town, you are going through the town, so your speed reduces because of that. Plus, because of the town, there are restrictions placed when the time of the day when you can cross it. Therefore, the logistic efficiency gets a hit. On the other hand, if you have an access controlled highway which goes just bypasses towns and has the exit entry system, the kind of roads we have started building. So that is the core of our vision, and equity has also been built into that. So going forward, that is the kind of project. So they'll continue. As we see, next 12, 13 years, we'll continuously building similar roads and will reach to a level where every part of the country will have good quality roads, and from anywhere to anywhere. This will actually help the industry to grow much faster. Logistic efficiency, this will make the industry competitive. Plus the other added things which we are doing, like fast tags, we are talking about the satellite tolling. So even that whatever little time after fast tag came in, the time taken at a toll plaza on an average was about 12 minutes, which has come down to 47 seconds. That's the average. I don't say that everywhere you pass through the toll in 47 seconds. But if you go to satellite, there will be no stopping. So that will further add to the efficiency. So we are looking at the road system as a comprehensive thing. We are also looking at the passenger amenities, the wayside amenities. That's another major program. Then we have ropeways program. So the whole transport sector from the infrastructure point of view is being looked at comprehensively.
Now, in terms of the capex allocation for NHAI specifically, sir, how much would that be out of this total allocation for the Road Transport and Highways Ministry?
There is nothing like for allocation for NHAI. There are investments, so it comes out that there are certain parts which are reserved for CRIF, there are certain parts which are reserved for under a scheme called NHO, and rest of the projects are actually, by and large, they go to NHAI. But our other company like NHIDCL or some other companies can also pitch in with projects. But typically, if we go by the last year's allocations, so they'll be looking at about 2.25 lakh crore out of this. But that is immaterial because the roads are being constructed by NHAI, NHIDCL, and the NH wings of the state PWDs. So out of this 2.78 lakh crore, the capital is 2.72 lakh crore.
Right, 2.72 lakh crore is
that is the money which will be spent on the projects.
Right. I would also like to ask you the target for highway construction. What would be your target of daily highway construction across the country now? What would you like to take it to? And are you looking at 2 lakh kilometers of national highway by FY25? What is the larger target that you're working towards?
No, I don't know how did you get this figure of 2 lakh by FY25. The total declared length of NH as of now is 1.46 lakh kilometer. This year we are constructing about the target which we have taken for ourselves, and we expect that we'll end up at about 13,000 kilometers this year, which will be one of the highest ever. In 2020-21 we had crossed 13,000, and this is the second time we'll be crossing that. On an average we have been building about 10,000-11,000 every year. But the stepwise, if you declare the NH first and then you construct NHs. So 1.46 is not going to change much. Declaration is a separate process. And as I said, in the vision we'll be creating these further corridors, then you will keep adding. Second point which we are addressing is wherever traffic congestion is there, if it's a 2-lane highway, we increase it to 4-lane. If it is a 4-lane, it is congested, we go to 6-lane or 8-lane depending on the traffic projections. And third and equally important part is there are national highways which have been declared national highways but are still less than 2-lane, maybe just a single lane or an intermediate lane road which was declared as a national highway on a proposal from the state government. So in such cases, we need to take it to at least certain minimum level, and we have decided that accepting in the hilly regions and strategic roads where it would be on certain other factors like ecology, etc., we will not be tampering with that unnecessarily. So depending on the traffic, it could be even a 2-lane or something. But in the rest of the country, if anything has been declared as NH, then it will be at least 2-lane plus paved shoulder. And this quality of road, what we are talking about, in 2014, out of 91,000 kilometer, such roads were 27,000 kilometer, which was close to 31%, 27,000 odd. Now, out of 1,46,000 kilometer, such roads are only 14,000 kilometers. So, in absolute term, from 27,000 to 14,000, it has reduced by almost 50%. And as a percentage of the total highway mix, it has reduced from 31% to 10%. So, this is how we are going forward. So, when you create more roads, then you declare NH, then you upgrade it depending on the requirement. So each project has to be taken accordingly, but in the vision document what we have created, it's a grid structure which ensures equity to all regions of the country.
Right. So you said that we are targeting over 13,000 kilometers of highway construction this year. Are you talking about the next fiscal?
No, I am talking about 23-24.
Okay. And in terms of FY25?
FY25 will fix up the target. Now we'll start to work with the detailed sheet, but it will be around the same.
It will be around the same. Okay. My final question, sir, would be about the scrapping sector. This is something that you have been looking at very closely. It's very important for our circular economy goals as well. We didn't see too much of a mention of scrapping or circular economy in this budget. But how is this something that you're likely to take forward? Do you think something on scrapping may come in the July budget?
As you are aware that the government is very particular about the circular economy. Honorable Prime Minister had, for the first time, India had committed to net zero goal of net zero by 2070. And in Panchamrit, he had given his five parts of, you are aware, so I am not repeating all that. The key point is circular economy is very important for creating a net zero economy. And with that concept, scrapping policy was put in place. So we are looking at it, but it's a very, very difficult task because each state has to amend its rule, it's a state subject. So we provide guidelines and then it's a further nudging which goes on. So we hold meetings at a monthly level. And every month you see some progress. So progress is there. ATSs are being set up, vehicle scrapping centers are being set up. And then there is a scheme to incentivize which was agreed to in the last budget. So when particular state reaches a particular milestone, so they get some additional money for capex. So even that incentive is also related to the capex. So these things are moving on. It's a work in progress, but definitely the speed will pick up further. And we have taken up with the automobile manufacturers also to declare certain incentives. And they are all very positively disposed, and we should see some positive news coming from there. So that will also further create the demand. When we talk to the state government and talk about creating ATSs and vehicle scrapping centers, so that is the supply side. To boost the demand side, we have when the automobile manufacturers declare some incentive that a person who has got his vehicle scrapped goes and buys a new vehicle, he'll have a lesser cost to pay.
Right.
So that will also give further boost from the demand side. So the whole ecosystem will develop.
All right. Mr. Jain, thank you very much for giving us your perspective on what this budget means for the infrastructure sector, for private companies, and how this will give impetus to the Indian economy as well. Welcome back.
For more news and updates, all you need to do is follow CNBC TV18 on all of our digital platforms.